Although studies such as this make clear that the relationship between aid and conflict is not as straightforward as intuition might suggest. They are limited by their macro level approach. Nunn and Quain, Chian, I think it's Chian, Nunn and Chian, as well as numerous other researchers, have focused on the differences among large scale aid dumps, comparing experiences across countries. This approach can offer a useful overview, but it masks the true complexity of aid's effects at the local level. Our data from the Philippines allowed ESOC, Empirical Studies of Conflict Project, to take a micro-level view studying variation in aid activity and violence across municipalities and over time, using precise information about perpetrators and victims. We were able to incorporate a wide range of variables into our analysis. We looked at both communist and Islamist insurgencies, for example, as well as various types of aid, from infrastructure projects to conditional cash transfers to private investment. Our methodology varied as well, from observational analysis to randomized experiments. Together, these methods yielded 4 key lessons. First, and perhaps most surprising, we found that creating jobs did not inhibit violence. A common belief is that gainfully employed men are less likely to participate in insurgencies because they are too busy working, or because the incomes they earn quell their discontent. In this view, the opportunity cost of violence is too high for those with jobs, and therefore donors should simply fund programs that generate employment opportunities. However, our analysis of employment and violence in the Philippines, co-authored by Michael Callan, challenged this logic, pointing to the opposite conclusion. Violence, in fact, increased with employment. A province that experienced larger than average year-to-year increases in employment typically also showed greater than average increases in violent incidents, as recorded by the Philippine military. This relationship was not unique to the Philippines. It paralleled the findings of our earlier research in Iraq and Afghanistan. Although our data do not allow us to put a finger on the exact source of this correlation, a possible reason could be, ironically, that jobs help improve people's lives. Local residents who see their fortunes rise could feel empowered to resist the government and its allies, for example, by refusing to sell information about insurgents if such cooperation isn't specified as a precondition of employment. But it's also possible that the link between employment and violence roots elsewhere. It could be that governments seek to reduce violence by adopting tougher measures, running checkpoints, conducting sweeps that damage the local economy and hence employment opportunities. More research is needed to inform employment generating programs of the future. Our second finding is that increased private investment too can increase violence. Governments and non-governmental organizations are not the only sources of economic activity in conflict zones. Local officials often encourage civilian investment in an attempt to de-escalate hostilities. Yet these efforts sometimes do the opposite and play into the hands of insurgents. For instance, when new investment presents new opportunities for militants to extort money from local businesses.